Hi Karen, how are you? Trying to get my music to come on. Hey Kimberly. How's everyone doing tonight? Thank you. Hey Joe, let me get you pulled up here. Hey Terry, thanks for joining from California. How's everyone feeling? I am, oops, shit. What did I do? Sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay. I am, not that it's about me, but I am incredibly sore right now. But I'm good. I'm here.
I hear you on that.
I'm here. I'm functional. It has been a day for real. Like, I just spent 4 hours in the car. That was not expected. And my back is just screaming at me from falling. And I'm very frustrated with myself.
Sorry.
Not that it was my fault that I fell. It was just, I felt like it was coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Just blame it on the chickens.
Yeah, no, I have. Right? I definitely did. Henrietta, you little gray bitch. It's all your fault. Thank you guys for the likes. I am just waiting a few minutes to get everything started here, but I really appreciate you guys getting on early. I'm gonna play a song. It's called Hope by NF, and it's kind of a rap song, and he talks about it. I really like it. I like the lyrics of it. I like the song, but I really like the lyrics.
It's called Hope by who?
NF, like Nathan Frank.
Yeah. Or Niagara
It's just called Hope. What's up?
Or Niagara Falls.
Yeah, not Niagara Falls. That's a good one. Yeah, you can see where my brain is. It's not all the way on tonight. So just forewarning everybody, you're getting a little foggy tonight. Highly medicated and just pushing through. So, hey Kate.
I do lives on Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the last one I did, I was a little medicated because I didn't have my pain medication. Oh, that was
I'd love to see that.
That was a hoot.
That's kind of like, I think the one that we did with that wasn't recorded with Tacoma Spoonie. I was kind of glad that it wasn't recorded because, you know, that night I was medicated for sure.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, you know? Absolutely not.
No. Sometimes I have the best conversations.
Hi, Amy. How you doing?
Hey, Amy. Hey, Sarah. Melissa, thank you so much for the likes. If you guys could keep tapping my face, get us out to the FYP page. What time is it? Is it time?
It's about 8:59 my time.
Okay.
That's what, 7:59 yours?
Let's see, we got 10 people in here. I'm gonna give it, okay. CRPS Angel of Hope is here. Thank you so much for coming on time. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna wait just a moment, do the announcements, and then I'll pull you up. Let me see, is Miss Dixie in here?
I haven't seen her.
It does, Terry. It does hurt all the time. Sometimes I can just mask much better. And then there's nights, yeah, she's in here. Let me pull her up. All right, so the first two things I want to talk about for anybody who's new This is Invisible No More. We are a group of chronic people. Oh, Dixie, could you mute for a sec? Sorry.
Could you mute for a second?
There is a bad echo.
Could you mute for a second?
Okay. All right. So we are Invisible No More. We are a group of people who, have chronic conditions, chronic illnesses, mental health. We accept everybody, and just want to say that this is a safe space to talk about your concerns, to talk about your conditions. What we do is every Thursday night we have Invisible No More, and we have a guest speaker come on and share their story about what they've been going through with their chronic illnesses. Tonight is CRPS Angel of Hope, and she's actually from New Zealand, which is really exciting. I am interested to hear her story and hear about the treatments over there versus America for CRPS. So I want to say this is a drama-free zone. No drama. Save the drama for your llama. We don't do it here. And if you decide to bring that in, then we will kindly ask you to leave. And if not, then, well, protecting that safe space. Also, we do not talk about politics in this space. There are plenty of other lives that you can go see about that. This isn't it. So if that's not something that you're interested in, that's okay. But if you are and you want to join in, we love to have you in the comments. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, then, let us know. What else? I'm going to pull up Miss Dixie. She's going to let you guys know a little bit about logistics, and then we will go ahead and get started. Okay. Name is Dixie.
Oh, that sounds a lot better.
That's better.
Hello.
No idea what happened. Sorry about that. Okay, everyone. Hello. How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
Yep. How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm fine. How are you? Okay, let's go over a few things, and I will turn you back over to your guest. Okay, right above Amanda and Joe is a orange heart. If you will mash that costs merely a 1 penny, and it sends 45 points. That will help us reach other people that may need us. After that 1 penny, your first comment will contribute 30 more points to the FYP. You can, and if you'll continue tapping, that will help us reach 15K. That normally gets us on the FYP, and keep tapping also. Please keep tapping, because the more we stay on the FYP, that helps reach more people in the invisible community that really needs us. While gifts are not, necessary, we, of course, Amanda does appreciate them. And gifts also contribute to points somehow or another to the FYP. Each one is different points. I don't know how all that works. Please avoid putting numbers in the chat. They're picking that up as credit cards, 1, 2, maybe 3 numbers, no more than that. And please remember to share to your friends, and some of your other people you picked up is appreciated. Now I will hand you back over to your host, and y'all have a lovely evening. I'll be done.
Thank you. Well, thank you,
Miss Dixie. We appreciate everything you do for us.
Thank you. Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Love you. Thank you.
All right. So before we get started, I wanted to give Joe a minute to introduce himself, and then I'll introduce myself. And then we'll introduce our special guest and go ahead and get started with the evening.
So, good evening, y'all. My name is Joe, in case you guys don't know who I am. I'm the Google guy, as I call myself. But anyways, I'm married. I have a wonderful daughter that is actually moving out of the house come next month. Yeah, so it's just going to be me and the wife and the 3 dogs.
Wow.
I have CRPS. I have diabetes. I've had CRPS for 5 years and diabetes for, 18, 19, something like that. So, but yeah, here I am, and I love doing this for the community. I love the way that you guys have shown me love, and this is my way of giving you guys back that love. So thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for everything that you've done for us. We really appreciate you. For anybody who hasn't checked out our YouTube channel yet or hasn't checked it out recently, Joe's been working tirelessly on getting our YouTube up and going and looking really nice. So go check it out. This will be on our YouTube channel in the next coming days. So just go and subscribe if you can, and that way you get reminded when these lives get posted, and that way if you can't make it, then you can always watch. So my name's Amanda, Chronic Pain Warrior for You. I am a 14-year pain patient. Been advocating online or just merely talking about my story and things like that for the last few years. I joined TikTok a couple years ago and found some really amazing advocates on here already. And they really inspired me to not only learn how to advocate for myself, but to hopefully be able to help others through my stories and experiences. And it's just been a magical journey these last few months. I found my unicorn doctor, and that's something that we'll be talking about this month is trying to gain some hope and sharing hope with those who are struggling with it. And so I'm really excited for the month of November. I think we're going to, ignite some really amazing things. It's bigger than I even know, right? So I'm excited about this coming month. Typically, there are a lot of us who feel very lonely and sad around these times of year. So we really wanted to focus on trying to lift people's spirits. A lot of us are struggling, including myself. And, Joe has his struggles too. I am also a CRPS warrior. I was diagnosed about 5 years ago, and I have widespread CRPS, so it is all throughout my body. It's intense, but finding the right doctor and finding the right plant medicine has really been amazing for me. So I'm hoping that things continue on this trajectory. But for now, I'm just trying to live it day by day and soak up all the good stuff I can. So, in saying that, let's bring on our guest and see how she has been doing and how she deals with her CRPS pain. Just a sec. Sorry, y'all. I'm having to scroll here. Okay, there we go. All right.
It's saying I'm connecting using audio only. I'm not sure why. Here we go. So, there we go. Sorry, I'm using my partner's phone.
Oh, okay.
We had a bit of a...
There we go.
There you are.
Right. Hi. Welcome on. How are you doing?
To be honest, it's been a very intense day for me. I've been helping advocate for my friend overseas, and I've just spent the last 4 hours on the phone to her. My partner's still on the phone to her. I don't think we're going to be getting off the phone to her for a while. So it's been a lot.
It is a lot, right? Advocating for others is a pretty intense thing. And a lot of people don't see all of the back end work that it takes to do that. So I commend you, because I know that there have been hours after hours that I've spent on the phone as well with people. So I'm really thankful that she has you, or he has you, to help out. You said they're overseas. Are they in America or?
No, they're not. They're can't kind of say exactly where they are, but they're not in a first world country.
Oh, okay.
But,
Okay.
it's been very interesting to me, putting my journey into perspective, because it really just makes you realize, even though it's been terrible, like you've still got something to hold on to.
Absolutely. I really like the video that you did a couple days ago, and that's the one that I used to kind of introduce what was happening tonight, where you were talking about how important it is to not let go of that hope. And I think that's such an important inspirational message that so many of us really need to hear. So I like that video.
Yeah, and you really, hope is the kind of thing you really have to reach rock bottom to truly find it. You're only going to find it in the dark. You're not going to find the hope in the light. So I've definitely hit rock bottom, and I still spend almost every day bedbound. I'm still searching for my treatment, still searching for doctors, but my story is a long one. How long do we have?
we got
our
an
stories.
hour.
They're so different to each other, and they're so long, and just there's so much to them.
Right. Well, I mean, where would you like to start? I mean,
I'm Tash. I live in New Zealand. I've got 2 children, a 2.5-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I've been with my partner Josh for 16 years. So I've had CRPS for almost a decade. Most of that time has been full body. So with me, I got carpal tunnel in both hands. I was a hairdresser. I got carpal tunnel in both hands. Our insurance, I guess you could call it workers' comp here, ACC, from the beginning didn't believe me, and didn't even believe me about my carpal tunnel. They made me wait 1.5 years till I had my operations. So I had my operations, and I knew straight away something wasn't right. Like, straight away when something's not right with your body. And I told them, within the first couple of weeks, and just nothing was done about it. Like, I was told for years that what's happening to you is crazy. This doesn't happen to anybody else. This is impossible, It wasn't until about 3 years after my operations, I had a really, really lovely German GP doctor at the time, and she went away and she spent months researching it. She finally came back to me and she's like, "You have RSD," because she didn't, this was almost a decade ago. People didn't really use CRPS much. But from that point on, it didn't seem to matter how many tests I had, how many reports I had, how many doctors diagnosed me. I still was never formally diagnosed, never taken seriously. So I got pushed back into work, basically. But I managed to fight really, really hard for a pain program. So I did a really intensive psychology, brain rewiring, neuroplasticity, learned all of that, loved it, because I'm a big nerd. I love learning about everything. The medical research is kind of my thing. So once I found out what I've got, I remember my doctor saying, the baby has a name, and we were just so happy. We were overjoyed. Finally, we know what it is.
Right.
It turns out that didn't matter at all.
Right.
So it got to the point where, my physio, my psychologist, everyone was saying to me, the best thing that you can do now is to get as far away from ACC as you can, and just, if you can live without it, you can live without it. We couldn't live without it, but we've just made it work. And I went about 6 years with no doctor, no nothing, just completely relying on medical marijuana. I tried all the, all of the usual drugs that they give you. They don't really give you anything more than that in New Zealand. You can't get ketamine infusions or anything like that. So, I went through the gambit of drugs already, and I was jaundiced, my kidneys were failing me, my liver was failing me, so I had to get off everything, and I had to get as far away from the doctors as I could, pretty much. And I was actually pretty good for quite a few years, but I spent 5 years either pregnant or breastfeeding, and that it didn't put me into remission, but everything was a lot better, so much better. And there's interesting research now coming out about that, which I'm looking forward to seeing, because as soon as I stopped breastfeeding, everything went back downhill. And it was about a year's time until I was full bed bound in a wheelchair. I've had full body CRPS this whole time, but this was different.
Yeah.
It's like I just couldn't do it anymore. Just after so many years.
The intensity of it changes, I feel like, after you have children.
And it kind of became more of a really deep bone pain, rather than the intense, it used to be hot and burning, now it's more of a cold, dry ice kind of feeling. So I was pretty desperate at that point. I was like, I can't do this any longer. I've got 2 babies now to look after. So that was when I finally put myself out there on the internet, and I'd never even met anyone with CRPS before the beginning of this year. Yeah. I didn't know we existed. I thought I was the only one who was told,
Who'd have thought there's so many of us, right?
I know. So I started a fundraiser because my friends convinced me to, and I ended up doing having a news article in the New Zealand Herald here, which is the big newspaper. I did another little article in another little paper, and a radio interview as well, but this one just blew up, got all this attention. Within 24 hours, I had messages from hundreds of people in New Zealand saying, I have CRPS too. I've been treated exactly the same. I'm completely, out of the medical system. And here they were doing this article about me, thinking I'm the only one. It's this big rare thing.
Right.
Everyone's coming back with me no, it's not that rare. And then I'm getting also, I'd say almost hundreds of people as well message me saying, I have CRPS too, and I've gotten this treatment. Why haven't you? I've been offered this. Why haven't you? And there's been a lot of medical gaslighting and things like that in my story, and I don't know why me, but
it's really unfortunate, but the more that we share our stories when we talk about this, the more we realize how we're not alone in the gaslighting, and how absolutely devastating it is for all of us, and then you think about it as a whole systematic issue, and you're just
it's bad enough the friends you lose and all of that, but once I got into the paper and my family started finally paying attention, I've been telling them for 10 years about this. Nobody wanted to listen to me. Now they start paying attention, but they're not paying attention to all of it. They're all blaming it on mental illness. So a couple of months ago, we went, a whole lot of family members banded together and tried to take our children off us because I'm not a fit mother because I'm disabled currently. So it's just huge discrimination, and it's been insane. But I still consider myself one of the lucky ones because I've got my partner of 16 years who just drop of a hat left work and is caring for me and the babies and doing everything. He's being housewife, but you spend all this time fighting. I ended up raising $40,000 in 24 hours from that newspaper article being up. But then it got taken down. Mysteriously got taken down. No one can tell me why. Everyone says that they wouldn't do it. So after that, my fundraising kind of stopped. And I kept trying to push it, but I just kept losing more and more people. It wasn't until I came on TikTok that I actually started meeting people that were truly supportive, because we do have a CRPS New Zealand group, Kiwi CRPS, but they've never let me into the group.
I'm sorry.
And they kind of came at it with the attitude of, you know, there's nothing you can do about this. It's an incurable condition. You know, it's an unaliving disease. And after 10 years of feeling that, of fighting like that, I was just, I had enough. I couldn't do it anymore. Like, I'm not fighting anymore. I can't be a warrior anymore. Like, I need to be something different. Like, and that's when I called myself the Angel of Hope, which, if you know me in person, like, most people just laugh their asses at, because I'm, you know, I'm not usually a very positive person, you know, never really been that, like, that kind of character. Also only found out I was autistic last year, so been undiagnosed autistic my whole life. That's probably contributed to the medical stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Because I'm walking from the beginning with a big folder of medical research, like, here we go. And but no doctors in New Zealand seem to know anything about CRPS. Even now I go to the GP and they say, you know, the last few months I've had them say to me, what, so you can't walk now? Or CRPS always gets better within the first 6 months, or, you know.
It's just so much bullshit. Just bullshit. You know,
I know
like where
now.
do you pull this from? Like my doctor, I just fell the other night. I called, I told him just so he knew. And he's like, oh, ice it. And I was like, for real, dude? Do you not even know me? And I was like, yes, you are a minotaur. You're not a unicorn anymore.
That's what my podiatrist said when I went. He's like, put some ice on it, put some heat on it. I'm like, sure.
Yeah. And the worst thing for me was going back to the pain medicine specialist doctor this year. You know, after feeling like I couldn't take it anymore. I hadn't been able to get a doctor until that point, but then I was in the paper and somebody with CRPS saw it, called their doctor, and the next day he had an appointment for me in his lunch break, so we went there and, you know, took the drugs he prescribed, and I ended up in a 3-week hallucination where my kids' faces were demons, and
Oh my God.
I didn't know where I was anymore. And it was somebody who I met online who pulled me out of that, and it was just, it was such an incredible experience having her do that for me. She didn't know me. She said, you know, and the sad thing is she wasn't able to continue that hope on for herself, but she gave it to me, and she showed me ways to get through the pain by overcoming it with hope and love. And it can sound ridiculous, but I mean, when you're in pain, what other choice do you have?
Yeah.
You know, you can literally lie there screaming on the floor, and I've done that for days and days and days and days. You know, it doesn't
take care of anything, doesn't really solve anything.
No.
At some point, you've got to really like take things into your own hands as well, and just like learn as much as you can about it, and find out all these things for yourself. Because if I wasn't to have gone online and found everyone that I found, I would still think that there was no treatment, that there was nothing that I could do.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a wheelchair if I didn't fundraise, because CRPS in New Zealand isn't a approved disability for funding. So in the public system, you get no funding, nothing. If you manage to get it through because it's from a work injury, you're fighting ACC, and I haven't had much better either.
Yeah.
So, there's so much need here to help people, but
so there's absolutely no doctors that have actually helped you in a way, right?
No, I'm not.
Wow.
You're considering potentially coming over here, right?
Yeah, I've been searching all around the world for a treatment, and I've considered Spain, I've considered Italy, I've considered America, but I'm back to America again. I'm looking at a holistic treatment centre there in Boise.
Okay.
So I've had a consult with Dr. Tracy.
Okay. I think I've heard of Dr. Tracy. I think we'll have to private message, but there's a lady named Susan who is very much into holistic healing, and I think she's brought them up before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I love doing this too, is because we find out about each other and we can make those connections, and there's so many people out here that have bits of knowledge that are just so helpful for each other, and we just don't know like who that information's gonna help. It's really awesome.
And like I said, I'm a big nerd. Like I've probably read almost every medical study that's come out in the last 5 years on CRPS. Like,
yeah,
and that's the funny thing about CRPS is it's one of the most studied conditions actually out there. If you know, it's got the most papers about it out of any other condition, but not a single one of them is conclusive. No, so maybe it's kind of, you know, because it's so different for everyone. You can't just lump us all into one.
Right. That was something I was talking about the other day with someone, is how there's almost like a different spectrum of, you know, of just different diseases, and how one person can suffer with something so differently than, you know, the next person, and how we all can have similar symptoms but be struggling, you know, at different variations of, you know. I think I might have gone into remission, but then like I don't know what this is, if I'm just properly medicated now, or if I actually am like finally getting everything to calm down.
Right.
And like that gives me hope that other people will hopefully find what works for them.
Yeah. And that's been what's given me hope too, is meeting people online who have told me that they are in remission, you know. They've done the impossible, and everyone around them is still trying to tell them that, you know, that they're crazy for even doing it. And
I hadn't really mentioned it a lot because I think there's a lot of people that don't support that idea, and it's really sad.
Yeah, I 100% support the idea, even though I don't know if I'm ever going to get there or how I'm going to get there, or, you know, I've spent every second of every day for the last 10 years in pain. But I still, I just have to hold on hope. You never know what's going to be around the corner. It's the cheesiest.
It's so not cheesy though. You know, maybe I used to think that was cheesy, but now that I've finally gotten here, I know that it's a reality, and I don't know exactly what everything that got me here, but I know it was a lot of self-love and self-healing, and a lot of holistic work that I had to do on top of, you know, the doctors couldn't save me. And
like I don't have high hopes. I just want to be able to bath and shower and dress myself and look after my babies by myself. Like I can't do much at all. I can barely lift a pen. I can barely do anything, you know.
Right.
So
I was there too. I couldn't even write.
Idea, I guess, of remission and of, you don't need to have a cure.
Right.
There's no cure for lots of things.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you have to have no quality of life, or you know, or that you can have no joy, or that you can have no love, or that you can have no of these other beautiful things, because it's like the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
How are you going to know what it really looks like?
There has to
In
be
the comments,
balance.
Amy asked, has there been any treatments that you tried that helped?
I haven't had the opportunity to try really anything, because there's nothing here. I did finally get an appointment for a possible ketamine infusion in New Zealand next month.
It is legal in New Zealand for ketamine infusions.
Apparently there is. It's all very hush-hush. There's only select people get it. I had a friend who went with a whole group of other people who applied to get it, and and she got declined on no good reason. So that's what they wrote on the paper, no good reason.
Wow.
I mean, there's really no telling what will happen.
I'll be hoping and praying for you that you get to have that opportunity, because at least if you can try it, you know, it doesn't hurt to try. And I know personally, I do the troches, the oral ketamine dissolvables, and it has been super helpful for my mental health, as well as, you know, as sometimes it does help with the pain. So
Actually, the one treatment that I do, that's the only thing that's really made any difference, is midi, and that's a traditional Māori healing treatment. So that's the only thing that I've ever done that's actually ever given me lasting pain relief, and it's really interesting. It's almost not even explainable. It's
Right.
kind of like Reiki, but it's very spiritual.
Okay.
There's a little bit of massage, but it's intense.
Yeah.
But it's those kinds of things that I think are going to potentially hold the most power for CRPS, plant medicines, different things like that. But
Yeah. So it's
Yes.
like energy healing kind of thing.
yeah, I guess so. And I'm working a lot with traumas, your own traumas and ancestral traumas, because there is a tiny genetic maybe component to CRPS, and I think just some people maybe are more predisposed to getting this kind of central sensitivity, like, you know, that we do, and whether that's because of things that we've gone through, or, you know, that's not saying it's psychosomatic at all. It's just saying our bodies are just like kind of just hardwired. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a book called The Body Keeps Count, and it talks about how our bodies hold on to trauma, and I'm a believer of that. I've been through a lot of trauma in my life, and everything spikes when things get incredibly hard. So it's like I can almost like go back in time and just say this happened and my pain flared, you know, and so it's really interesting how that work does. I've done Reiki before in the past, and other types of healing. I talk about that type of stuff on my Wednesday lives, so we should talk about this afterwards, because that's really interesting.
Yeah, you really wanted this to be about hope, and to talk about, I know you wanted to talk about some kind of blessings that have come from it, and it's been a really interesting day to be thinking about that with us, you know, spending hours to my friend on the phone like I have, but I mean, I think it's really doing those things that enables me to keep going, because it kind of, I like to call it like turning your pain into medicine. You know, you might not be able to like help yourself that much, but sometimes all the other person needs is just somebody else on the phone there with them, to like sometimes just to fall asleep with you on the phone there, or, you know, there are so many people that have got no one going through this, and that that don't have no idea where to go to for information. So it's definitely a big passion of mine, is trying to help other people through it, but it is such a fine balance with, you know, looking after your own health.
Yes, absolutely. You have to really, when you start doing this, it's almost a little bit overwhelming, because I know a lot of us felt very alone in the beginning. And then when you start sharing your stories, then people will resonate with that, and they'll reach out to you. And it takes a lot of willpower, but it also takes a lot of won't power to be able to say, I'm really sorry you're going through this, but I can't help you. But maybe I can help you find someone who can help you. So it's a lot of setting healthy boundaries with other people, because it really can become like a full-time gig, you know, and and on top of being chronically ill or chronically in pain, it can be so rewarding. Don't get me wrong, I love doing this, but it also can be, it's a balancing act. And I'm really, we've been doing this for a few months. I'm still learning how to juggle all of this. So
I'm just so grateful. I never even knew this was here. Like, I never knew there was this community here. I never knew there would be people that I could potentially help. I've always thought, well, all I'm going to be able to do with the rest of my life is sit here on my ass and talk. Well, what am I going to do with that? It means that I can actually do something with that, and I can still help people. And that's all I've really wanted to do my whole life, is to help people somehow. And it was one of the things about becoming disabled was, I got CRPS when I was 23.
Okay.
I don't feel like I've got much of a chance to really do anything. So at least now I feel like there's stuff that I can look forward to again in life again, and there's people that I can help, and there's things that I can do because I've got this community here. And it doesn't really matter that I've lost all these other friends and family, because I'm finding my tribe now, and they support me no matter what.
So someone asked in the comments, how is pain management in New Zealand?
Virtually non-existent. If I was to go to the emergency room, they'd literally tell me to have a cup of tea and lie down. Like, I'd be lucky to get a Panadol, like Tylenol, I think you call it. There's just nothing, and there's no private options either. So it's not like you can just pay to go see someone privately. It's not there in the public system. It's not there. And you can fight for it, but then you might get
insurance.
No, healthcare is free in New Zealand. Completely free, except for if you're injured at work, and then it's an ACC thing. So that's what I went through. But there's just no specialists here. There's no pain medicine specialists here. The one that I found, I've had one appointment with him. Doesn't have another appointment until the new year. So I went through withdrawing myself off of methadone, off of tramadol, off of all of these things on my own, because they'll give you the drugs and then it's see you in 6 months. Good luck.
Do they refill them, or?
Yep. Yeah, they'll keep refilling them. Like, your GP will keep refilling them, or I'll send an email to him now and he'll refill it. But to actually see someone in person, and I'm still yet to see a doctor who's actually going to ask me anything about my symptoms. Like, I've got POTS now, and I can't get any doctor to even check it, to even do anything. So I've really, really had to learn to be my own everything.
So unfortunate. I talk about how it's such a struggle here in America, but I've talked to other people in other countries as well that are struggling just like we are, and so I think it's really a global issue, and it's incredibly devastating. It's scary, and
the scary thing is America has a lot more treatments, a lot more doctors, but it seems it doesn't actually seem that much better there. So
right.
It's not like there's a whole lot more people that are better there. So it's just, there's something missing here, and I don't know what that is, but I think a lot of us go through a lot of the same things with the medical gaslighting, and a lot of us end up with medical PTSD, and there's something about chronic pain that, because you can't see it, it's just
right. Have you met any other person in New Zealand that has CRPS or RSD?
I've met hundreds now. After that newspaper article, I met hundreds. Yeah, so there's probably a good 30 people in my local community. So I started up a Facebook group for us, and there's a few people on there, but New Zealanders are very much like, she'll be right kind of attitude is in New Zealand. Like, there's such a lack of GPs here. Even most people can't get a general practice doctor, so most people are pretty done with they're like sweet with the idea that they're going to be in pain for the rest of their life, and have given up, and most of them didn't even know that there was a name for what they had. So even now, just being able to help educate people about it, and people feeling like they're not alone, and it's just been huge. It's been huge.
That's really what we're all looking for in the end, is not to feel alone. Because CRPS is a lonely disease when you think about it. 90%, let's say, of people have to stay at home because they can't work. So you feel loneliness, all that. And
And
really
some of
what
us,
we're really
even
looking for.
when we're surrounded by our loved ones and things like that, can still feel this immense amount of loneliness, just because you feel like nobody understands you,
Right.
and nobody really understands what you're going through or what you're feeling.
They're there themselves, and me, like I'm a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they're here, but I can't spend more than 10-15 minutes a day with them anymore, because it causes me too much pain. Kids are unpredictable, they scream and they jump, and any little thing, like I virtually have to isolate myself completely now to be okay. So that's why I'm so thankful for the internet, and hoping one day that I'll find the unicorn doctor, or I'll find the treatment that works for me. But until then, still have hope.
Yeah.
Or even a doctor that understands what you have and gives you like a game plan for treatment.
And that's one of my huge goals. Is worldwide there needs to be kind of some kind of standardized treatment plan for CRPS. Like these are the things that you go through in the order that you go through them. So another thing I'm kind of working on in the background is a website, like a worldwide kind of organization, educational website, but I wanted it to be more aimed at the doctors, more of a kind of, that's a really difficult thing I'm faced with now. I don't know if anyone's got any advice, like how do you get the doctors to take you seriously? Because that's the thing, like we know the most about this condition, than any doctors, any specialists. We live it.
I think Michael J. Fox said something like that the person that knows more about the disease is the person that has it.
It's taken years for so many of us to get diagnosed with it. My diagnosis started with fibromyalgia, and then 5 years later was CRPS. So it's like I don't even know. Even though I have a diagnosis, I'm like, sometimes I wonder. I don't even know.
Right. Well, think how many people have been misdiagnosed like that.
Right.
One way or the other. So they're taking like the wrong medication because you're treating something that you don't really have.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I know they treated a lot of my pain with mental health medications, and I don't have anything against mental health meds. I just want to put that out there, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a naturopathic, just a person with my lived experience. It made me crazy. It literally made me so sick in the head, being on all of these different medications, and then they just kept convincing me more and more that it's in my head, that and it's just like, I don't have either of you guys gone through that with being put on SNRIs, SSRIs?
Oh yeah. And then sometimes that's what causes it to spread, that can help contribute to the central sensitivity, and then it's in your whole body, it's really, that's why I'm so scared to take any meds now, because I just think it's so tough.
I don't blame you at all. I think we're very much in similar types of situations in the mind space of, I got myself down to a few meds, and I'm down to 3 doctors, including my GP, and I don't want to do anything else. Like, I told my husband the other night, I'm like, I will probably end up dying from something I don't get diagnosed with, but I would rather not know at this point.
Yeah, and I spent many, many years like that, just trying to get as far away from CRPS as possible. I never wanted to identify with it as as having it. I never even used to allow myself to say the word pain. I just wiped it from my vocabulary because I just can't think about it anymore after years and years of fighting it. And then, once it gotten 10 years down the track and it's, even more systemic, when I have to label myself as it. That was a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But
I'm like once you finally accept that diagnosis, like it takes time to accept, and especially when the doctors tell you that, you're going to be in pain for the rest of your life. That's a hard pill to swallow.
No doctor should ever say that to anyone with CRPS.
I don't think they should.
It's this up from the beginning. That's the first thing we're told. Mm-hmm. It's an unaliving disease. The worst pain in the world. No treatments. I mean,
where's the hope in that?
I wouldn't tell that to someone who got diagnosed with cancer. Which,
right.
I don't know why they do it to us. Mm-hmm. The name's already bad enough. Complex Regional Pain Syndrome, So I loved it when it was RSD. It took me a long time to even be able to say CRPS. It's like, no, but RSD.
Mm-hmm. You would have thought by now, because it's been around everywhere. It was actually in Europe before they even found anything in the U.S.
Wow.
At least a pill, something to kind of treat, CRPS instead of us taking medication, piggybacking on the side effects of that medication. I'm like,
you need more medication, and
then every time you go to a doctor, here's a new pill. Oh, you have foot pain? Here's a new pill. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're not blinking right? Here's a new pill. Let's treat the core of the problem, not just give me pills to. I feel like to go away.
Yeah.
You get your 15 minutes of pain. Go ahead. Keep going.
Like put a plaster over the stab wound is about all they try and do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're not trying to get to the root of the cause, which is why I like holistic medication, because they really do try to get to the root of the problem. But I know that it is very costly, can be very costly, and not everybody can afford it, and we sacrifice a lot in our family for me to be on the supplements I'm on, but I can't go back.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I could.
I tried to get off of certain supplements, and it just,
I can't afford any supplements, anything like that. I don't get any compensation for not working, and my partner doesn't get any compensation for paying for looking after me, apart from a little benefit that just covers our mortgage. So, we spent months where it was the community feeding us. We're lucky we've gotten to the point now where we can just kind of keep going. But if I hadn't have done that fundraising, I wouldn't have this opportunity to be able to go out there and do that. But,
Oh, absolutely.
I lost almost all my family, almost all my friends. Went through a lot of trauma. But I'm hoping to be able to take some of that knowledge back here. I've talked to one of the local politicians here, and he's already keen for me to start up a support group. I tried to tell him there's already one, but he's like, no, just start up your own one anyway. So I want to eventually be trying to bring treatments back here somehow.
Yeah.
Like all of us have big plans and goals, though, but it's what I can end up achieving, I don't know, but
I really hope you can. That's a massive goal, but I mean, it's such a good goal. It's really, this is like the first time in my life in years that I've actually had any semblance of hope for my future, or any kind of goals for many years.
Yeah.
Yeah, for many years I was just, gritting my teeth, trying to get through the 24 hours till the next day, and to be able to breathe, I guess, is just such a blessing.
And always still going to have bad days. I'm an electric wheelchair a lot of the time, but I managed to get around the house with a cane, and it's funny because it started on my wrists, but
Right. And that's hard to use a cane when your wrists hurt.
exactly, yeah, try using a cane when you risk it. Even an electric wheelchair, pushing the button,
Yeah.
it's near impossible, but I'm just so grateful for the days that I can get out of bed, make it to my desk, and do something to help somebody else. Maybe spend 10 minutes with my children, but I wish there was more than this, but there will be.
There will be.
There will be. There's
You gotta keep the hope, you know? You gotta hang on to it.
There will be.
Now, I gotta ask,
Oh, go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
Orange Flame Spellbound Cane from Nia Walk Sticks. How do you like it? This thing is like glass, and they
Do you wanna
make it in
see it?
different colors and all that. It's like really neat.
Oh,
What
it's
is
amazing. My new walking stick.
Oh,
Didn't own
wow.
it in orange, so this is from Neo stick, so it's
You know,
completely
stick, yeah.
see-through, but it's like got this orange flame running through it.
Wow. That is
How do you like
that
it so far?
cane.
I love it. It makes a huge difference to my old cane, which is it's nice $2 shop jobby. But
That's what mine is, an old wooden one with like some carvings in it.
which is cool, but this is just so much more ergonomic. It's got kind of like a little,
Nice.
kind of doesn't matter. It absorbs some of the
Arc on your wrist.
Impact, the shock, yeah.
and there's like 5 different handles you can pick from. So like this is a really good shape for if you do have sore hands.
Right.
It was bad. I mean, they're very, very expensive. But I mean, it's so hard using mobility aids.
Right.
You can have one that makes you feel like a little bit better about yourself. It really, really does make a difference because, I spent, it was months before I got up the courage to get out of the house in my wheelchair. So, it really makes a difference to have things that you actually...
Does New Zealand have like handicap spaces?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No, my disability is just not approved. It's considered a neurological condition here.
Can you still get handicap placards and things like that for things other? I
Haven't tried. I just wing it. I live in a very small town, so usually if we're, just yesterday we were parked at a cafe and we saw the parking warden come along, so my partner went and talked to him. I waved my cane at him, and he's like, okay. It's pretty casual here. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
So I read a comment. Hold on. I missed.
somebody was wondering, Joe, can you put in where the cane is from?
Oh
Or do you
yeah.
have a website?
Yeah, it's from Neil Walk.
I've missed every message because I have to have the phone like up
I
here.
can't. Yeah, I can't read and talk at the same time. My brain don't work that way anymore.
Yeah, there was times I was trying to read the comments, and then you guys
That's
were
why it's
talking, and I
nice
was
having
like,
Joe on too, because he can do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe, did you have any other questions?
no.
there we go.
Another person asked in the comments too. How long was it before, between when you had you thought you had CRPS and the actual diagnosis of CRPS?
Depends who you ask. I emailed my surgeon 2 months after surgery, so 8 weeks after, and he told me he thought that I had complex regional pain syndrome. And from about a year and a half after that, I got a diagnosis from my GP, but she put it as a complication of my carpal tunnel rather than as a new condition. So I've actually only technically been diagnosed a couple of months ago. So, but I knew I had it from the first 4 weeks, and there wasn't a specific way for people to get diagnosed with CRPS in New Zealand. There was a couple of months ago, I did a hui, which is just a talk, a Zoom call with hundreds of different doctors in New Zealand for Te Whatu Ora, which is I work with our government health organisation, and through doing that talk, they created a new category in the health system for CRPS. Because before then, if you went to a GP about it, they type in CRPS, there was nothing there.
Wow.
So I've at least enacted that change already, and that's something huge.
That's huge.
How long have you had CRPS for?
9 years.
So it started in your wrists then, and then it just radiated out.
After I had my operation, it was full body within like 6 months.
Yeah, it spread. It seems like, I don't know, from my experience, it just spreads so quickly.
It does. It does.
And I wonder sometimes if it's because a lot of us don't know how to treat that pain, and some of the ways we treat pain, like icing, or like for me, ice bath therapy. Yeah.
And I was given a whole lot of medications that interacted straight away. Like, if I knew what I knew now back then, things would have been so different. But
yeah,
and, you couldn't really Google CRPS back then and have anything come up. I remember when I saw Trial by Fire, Child Maddox's documentary like 8 years ago, I was like, oh my God, this is the first thing I've ever seen on CRPS. This is the first I've ever.
Charles that was a great document he did. He's making a new one.
Yeah.
What was that one called? Trial by Fire?
Trial by Fire. I can send you the link.
Okay. Yeah, so he's making a second one, and he's kind of been all around the world looking for treatments, and me and him talk almost every week. I always tell him when I find a new doctor, a new treatment, and but neither of us have kind of come to a conclusion as of yet. But keep going with that.
That's really exciting.
It's also
I love documentaries. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to learning about different medical things and the history of what we're going through, and how insane it is to me that how we repeat things over and over again without learning, and it's just humans, right?
And how fast we forget too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can read a whole book, and 3 days later I'm like, did I even read that book?
Oh, you got 3 days? Yeah.
We watch, no kidding, we'll watch like a TV show, and we'll go like to my brother-in-law's, and he's like, oh yeah, you see what happened? I'm going, oh yeah, and I'm like, what? Like, I'm lost. Like, I have no idea, but you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah, the brain fog and
it's really bad. I wouldn't be able to advocate for anyone if I didn't have my partner, who's now still on the phone, to our friend, because I read all this medical information, I remember it, but I can't tell you, like, I'm like, I know this thing. I know it, I can't, but he's like a sieve for it, and he's very intelligent, and he's just soaked it all up, and he helped me a lot with helping other people. So I'm very, very grateful for that.
I'm so happy that you have somebody supportive. It makes such a difference.
Yes. It definitely does make a difference. Because you have someone there that, even if they don't truly understand what you're going through, right? It's someone there to show you support, love, give you a hug when you need it, give you a shoulder to cry on, someone just to listen.
Yeah, always been there to listen to me, and that's why I think I feel so strongly about doing it for other people, because it's like, imagine going through this without that.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. So I kind of I put a lot into it now.
Right.
Well, thank you for everything that you do for the community. Really, truly, like, we appreciate it. it takes strong people like yourselves that are really smart to make changes like that. I am not that good at retaining information, but I love letting people share. So I think it's important that we all know that we have special skill sets and they'll all fit into the community in some way someday. We'll all figure out, what we're good for, and that'll help you, mentally to just feel better, feeling like you have a space and a task, I guess, or a job, can be so beneficial.
And this is great as well, just all working together, because I've met so many people with CRPS, and if you have a differing opinion to them, it's like, that's it. But I think it's important that even if we have differing opinions and we have things, that we still all talk together and we all learn together, and, that's the only way that we're going to really get through this, is by actually...
Right.
Putting all our differences aside.
Absolutely.
Amy asked, are there any specific treatments that you want to try if you travel somewhere else?
If I travel
Like
somewhere
if you go
else.
to the U.S., is there any treatments you're willing to try or want to try?
Other than the US? Or
within the US?
Not really. Like I've researched everything. I swear I've researched almost every treatment there is in the world, and none of them seem to be like getting to the root cause of it. I really don't know what there is from here, but I'm learning new things every day, and new research is coming out every day. Like I'm on there on PubMed almost every day, reading the new things that come out, and there's things that have come out even in the last couple of months, that are huge. So I think that's why so much hope there, because I was told there's no possible treatments, and really there is so many. But just trying to find the right. Yeah.
What are some of those treatments that you've researched and found?
I wouldn't be able to tell you right now because I've got the worst brain fog in the world.
That's okay.
I've made it this long. But I quite often share about things. On my phone, and I could probably tell you if you asked me about almost any different kind of treatment, but off the top of my head. And I mean there are some kind of more controversial things that I do for pain management that I don't know if I'm okay to talk about here or not. I don't know how open this platform is, but
we're open. We talk about controversial subjects, so
that's been the best thing for my pain actually is microdosing. So it's something I'm able to do.
I think most of us do that.
Yeah, I was actually just on a live talking about that earlier today. how I would like to try that again.
Sure if I could. Oh, okay. Drop the phone. It's okay. I wasn't sure if I could talk about it or not, but
Where I'm open to all suggestions. I've had to open my mind to a lot of different, suggestions and stuff over the years. Because in all honesty, when you've lived with pain and you've tried every damn thing out there and something new comes along and you're like, it might work, I'm in. I mean, that's how I ended up with 2 stimulators. That was it. Because I was like, nobody is coming to rescue me.
Right.
And
we hang on to that hope, that what if it does work?
Right. Well, and that I have found much hope through natural plant medicine, more so than I've ever found through anything pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
And so it's, just a matter of sometimes having an open mind when it comes to talking about different options, because we're all different in how we react to different pharmaceuticals or different plant medicines. Something may work for one of us and not work for the other. And so it's just like that with plant medicine too. It's trial and error. So.
But most likely the side effects of plant medicine are a lot
Or
lower
Much
than, regular medication. Like I just
Yeah.
went to my podiatrist today and he was like, well, use heat and cold. And I'm like, I can't use that. And he goes, well, then just take some Tylenol and ibuprofen. I'm like, why?
I love this blanket statement. I took my daughter to the doctor yesterday, and they're like, well, I guess it's a virus, so she's just gonna have to tough it out and take some Tylenol. And I'm like, are you really? This is what you went to school for, huh? I'm just like, I could do this.
What I really wanted to tell him was, Tylenol and ibuprofen are not going to touch that pain.
Right.
Trust me, I did it for the first 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's not a lot of things that do touch the pain. That's the thing, like you can get the strongest opioids, I've tried almost all of them. None of them take the pain away fully. If anything, I end up feeling worse because I lose my head and my brain. I can't think properly. And then everything seems worse. And, once you've tried almost all of the drugs and none of them take the pain away, it's just like, what's the point? Anymore. And then once I got off all of them again, and started actually feeling myself in my head again, was when I was like, no, I can do this,
Yeah.
It's like when you go to a doctor and they're like, what's your pain? And you'll say an 8, let's just say, right? And then they'll be like, well, when you take this medication, does your pain go down? Yeah, it may bring it down to a 5. And they're like, well, that's good enough. No, good enough is 0. We start at 0. We didn't start at 3.
Right. Yeah, it is not normal to feel pain every day.
And that's what so many people forget. It's not normal to be in pain all the time. It's not normal. And so many people end up feeling like it's normal and they have to live like that. And I think it's true. And even if we do have to live like that, at least we can do it all together. And let's just be deliriously hopeful instead of, let's just go the other way, because what harm is it going to do?
Right.
It won't work, but maybe we'll have some laughs along the way.
Exactly.
The
other way is obviously not working, right?
Yeah. You gotta laugh.
Find a different way to do this.
Yeah.
It has to be, definitely.
Yeah. I've gotten to the point after 14 years so that I'm like, I would really love to just be at a 2 or 3. That's my go-to. There have been miraculous moments recently where I've had no pain, and it is such a weird feeling when you're not used to it, right? Like, it's almost like am I dead?
I can't even imagine.
It's unimaginable, and that's how I realized that a lot of people that don't live with this, trying to imagine being in pain like we do feel, and trying to imagine that every day is so unfathomable to most people. Like, it's just such an unrealistic reality that we live in,
It's too much for a lot of people to even think about, and that's what I found. It was too kind of intense for them once you told them the full truth of it. And then you get the other side of it with people saying, well, I've got a sore knee all the time too, or
right.
But you just have to take it on the chin, because you never. My friend taught me that you kind of have to have compassion for those people as much as you can, because it's so easy to get angry about it. Mm-hmm. And I've been there, and it doesn't help.
Right. It's hard for them to know what to even say to that, and that's why I think it's really important for us to find our tribe, so we have the people that understand what we're going through, and we can reach out to them whenever. Find people from all over the place, so that whenever time zone, you always have someone to talk to. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's actually what you have to do. my friend actually told me yesterday I need to actually write them all down and put them on my desk because I forget, and I'll feel like I'll forget that I've got all of these different people, or I'll feel like I'm annoying them, but like really that's what they're there for.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all go through waves of, one of us might be doing well and one of us might be hitting rock bottom. And that's kind of the beauty in having multiple people that understand, is that you guys can, lift each other up and vice versa. When you're down, they can lift you up. It's really,
In the research that you've done, right, have you found anything that says that, like, let's say me, right, I have diabetes. Mm-hmm. So by having that, I could have gotten CRPS?
There's definitely a potential, like, not only genetic component, but going alongside a whole lot of other conditions. So, like diabetes is definitely one of them. But also just PTSD, any kind of trauma to the body. But the thing with CRPS is it's an umbrella term for a whole lot of different things, really. That's chucked it all together, and now it's CRPS. But that's why it's so important to treat like your symptoms,
right?
Because it's actually the more you start reading back, and I've been back a couple of 100 years now, and there's so many different things that it could be, that have kind of just all been lumped into one. And that's not saying that we've got the wrong diagnosis or anything. It's just it's an umbrella term, and I think that's what we need to remember, because we're all so different.
Because it mimics so many other diseases.
Right.
Yeah, and it's meant to be a diagnosis of exclusion as well. But how many of our doctors go through that process of exclusion? Because I know for mine it's CRPS, because it's the easy one to blame it on.
Yeah.
Especially in a lot of cases where surgeries don't go right, or there's so many different causes for CRPS, but definitely a lot of them are medical malpractice.
Yeah.
And so they don't know what else to do. So let's CRPS. You're going to be in pain forever. But
yeah, it's like I love when people say, well, how do I know you're not lying about your disease? Listen, if I was going to lie, I would pick like the common cold.
Yeah, something that someone believes.
Something that is excruciating in pain.
And I was like, I'd just been offered a job in New York. I live in New Zealand. Just been offered a job in New York City the week before my injury. This was my dream job. I worked for it for years. Like nobody's going to choose to throw away all their dreams at 23 and have their partner have to wipe their bum for them. And no, nobody wants that. And that's one of the most ridiculous things about it is nobody wants this pain. Nobody would fake it. Nobody would. So many of us.
Sarah, I meant not like lie. I meant like when you go to the doctors and the doctors look at you like you're lying. That's what I meant by that statement.
Yeah.
They'll say it's on your head.
Yeah. Yeah, so many of us get that.
Oh yeah, I did.
The only doctor,
my surgeon, every time I told him, he would just look at me and go, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's there, buddy. No.
Yeah.
I was like, seriously?
I had 2 babies with no pain relief, and I'd do that any day over this. I'd go through birth, 24/7 every day for the rest of my life. It is less painful.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
agree.
I'd say I'd go through surgeries just to, get the treatment after. But even now, like, you're not getting treated after your surgeries. So it's like, there's no way in hell anyone's touching me. I was just talking to my mom about that. I'm like, I'm sorry, but nobody's touching me.
Well, I hear horror stories. You get major surgery and get sent home with Tylenol.
Yeah.
You're like...
That's why we talk about making sure to get, a document in place that has what you're going to be given after surgery. and get it filled pre-surgical day, because you don't know if the pharmacy is going to have it. There's so many hoops that people have to jump through with just getting adequate pain medication.
And making sure you've got someone else there with you as well to speak for you, to help advocate you when you can't. It's so important.
Well, that advocate is going to listen better than we do.
Right. Well, and a lot of times you're so, at least for me, I feel very anxious during my appointments and I forget a lot of things. So I practice my appointments before I even go. I write down everything, down to how much medication I have and all of that. I write it down so that I don't forget, because I get so anxious. And even though my husband would go with me, I've never done that other than once, and it was such a nightmare with that doctor that it scared me away from doing it, and that's really unfortunate, because I think had my husband gone with me more than once, it would have ended a lot sooner with that doctor. But I don't know. It's just, we put up with so much.
My wife goes to every appointment with me.
That's good.
Because if not, I'll forget.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. And that's been the really, really hard thing, is meeting people who don't have that, don't have someone to advocate for them or to help take them to appointments, and you can't actually help them. It makes it really hard, and I don't know how we solve that problem either. But I mean, the bigger that we make our community, the more people that know and more of us there are. And none of it's a competition. We're just
right.
The more the merrier.
Right.
Yeah, by doing this, I've actually met people in my city, that live really close to me and that went to my previous nightmare doctor. It was pretty wild that they found me and was like, "Is your doctor so and so?" And I was like, "No way." I'm like, that is cosmic karma right there.
Everyone knows everyone here. It's actually like that. So, everyone knows me as a girl with CRPS. So, that's where I feel like I'm really going to be able to help people the most now, is it's people who are being newly diagnosed. And, they haven't had it for 10 years and have all these problems. They can, they call it the golden window, the first 6 months. If you're lucky enough to be diagnosed and treated within that time, your chances of full remission are very, very high.
Yeah.
So,
the more I have a couple of friends that are newly diagnosed, and I agree that trying to help them as soon as possible to figure out what they can do is so helpful, because once it starts spreading, it's just
you can't stop it. It has a mind of its own.
I'm really excited for your videos and what you have. Do you have anything big in the works coming out, other than the documentary and everything else we talked about tonight?
Lots of ideas, lots of things in the works. As to which ones end up panning out, I'm not quite sure, because that's a hard thing about working with other, most of the people that I do things with have CRPS too. So there's been so many projects that have started and failed of no one else's fault. But my partner said he doesn't want to go back to work now. He wants to do this with me. So I've actually got an able-bodied person now here to help, which is what we need, is more able-bodied people to join our cause and to help us. And,
I agree, because a lot of us are in the positions where we just can't get out and do these marches and do these picketing and the activism type work. A lot of us can, but a lot of us can't. And so the more able-bodied people that we can get to join forces with us, I think we can make such a difference if we just put our differences aside and just really got together. That's my hope. That's my real hope, is that we can learn to put aside our differences and just make some changes.
And that's really my hope too, is, we're all one in this. And almost every country around the world now, I've met someone with CRPS, and we're not that different, and we're made to believe that we're very, very different from each other. But we're really not. Our universal experiences a lot of the time are the same, and we've all got things to teach each other. And
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing what you've been going through and what you've got in the works. And is there anything that you want to talk about before you jump off?
I don't think so.
I think we were going to talk about our wins, if you want to stick around for that, or if you're feeling tired and need to jump off. We'll probably
I'd
go
love
for
to hear some wins. Is this other people's wins? What is
Yeah.
this? Yeah, I'd love to hear.
So at the end of our lives recently, we started doing a thing where we have people share their victories, their wins for the week or for the month. Just something that they feel proud of, something that, they makes them feel good, whether it's taking a shower or, being able to eat a meal,
That's
anything
how you
like
grow.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are little gratitudes. Yeah.
So it's just a moment of gratitude, and, we would love for you guys in the comments to share some of your victories that you've had this last week. Joe, have you had any?
I took 2 showers this week.
Nice.
I think I'm good for like a month, right? Isn't that how it works? 1 shower
Yeah.
for the month?
Right.
I'm good.
I'm sure your wife appreciates it.
Yeah.
I know the feeling, right? It's okay.
You got your sheets changed on your bed. That's hard work. That is hard work. Let's see, Amy, you cooked dinner last night. Good for you.
Yeah,
What did you
I've
make?
been into the kitchen twice in 6 months. Well done.
Yeah. Spent 3 days with my granddaughter, and we had a blast. Paying for it now, but I'm okay. Yeah, Deborah, we've talked about that, about how we pay for living sometimes, but for me, it's really been kind of outweighing. Okay, if I'm gonna pay for this for a week, is it gonna be worth it? And yeah, it was all worth it.
I've gone through so much extra pain for my kids doing things that I know I shouldn't be, because I know I'll spend the next week in bed, but those memories at the end of it are so worth it.
Yeah. Beverly, do you have any wins? Let's see. 4 straight hours of sleep. That's good.
Sarah said that she slept 4 hours in a row 2 days ago. Hey, that's great.
Yeah.
Dixie, your husband's starting to take a turn. That's good. I was really worried about him.
I'm so happy.
You had a good non-judgmental ER visit today. That's on Monday, but
That's pretty monumental.
Great victory.
almost unheard of.
Yeah.
And so I'm really happy for you. So happy for you that you got through it, and they weren't judgmental. Like, that is a beautiful thing. Marie's on her 2nd week of chemo and going strong. We're praying for you, Marie. How are you feeling? I'm sure I had a friend that had breast cancer, and we supported each other while she went through her stuff, and it's a lot. Visiting daughter, have to get help with. Okay. That's awesome, Beverly. Awesome. Let's see, what did I do? I'm trying to think of everything good that I did, because I've had a couple kind of rough last couple days. So I'm like trying really hard to think of the positives right now. Yeah, I got to go out to my friend's farm last weekend, and that was really fun. And I saw Post Malone I've been to a few concerts, and that has been really like huge for me because I got to the point where I couldn't do that anymore, and it really bugged me. It was really hard for me emotionally because that's like, I don't know, some people have traveling, some people like cooking. Live music is my like soul food.
I've actually got my first gig I've gone to in a long time on Saturday, and I'm finding this Saturday coming, and I think I'm going to be having to take my wheelchair because I don't think I can. My standing limit's about 5 minutes, so that's going to be a big day for me.
That's exciting. Is it a local band or a big band or?
It's a band I don't even know.
Yeah,
my friend just asked me if I wanted to go to a gig, and I was like, sure. I haven't been to one in ages.
Yeah.
I actually have a babysitter for the first time in forever, so yeah, me and one of my best friends who I think's watching, Vampy.
That's so exciting. I can't. If you do any videos,
so it'll be quite interesting.
Yeah.
There'll definitely be videos. There's going to be dress up, so I've got to decide what I'm dressing up as. So anyone got any ideas? Send them my way. Dress up to go with a wheelchair.
Okay.
Add that prop in somehow.
Is it like costume dress up or?
Yes, full Halloween dress up. You know, maybe have face painting there and flash tattoos and everything. So, yeah, I'm scared, but I'm sure they'll take care of me.
Yeah, an angel.
Yeah, having mobility aids makes all the difference.
Yeah, definitely. I'm learning that more and more as I gain more friends within the community that have to use mobility aids. I'm much more mindful of how difficult it is, especially with like motorized wheelchairs and things like that. How like my mother-in-law, you know, she has COPD also, and she has a really hard time, you know, walking and so it's just like, and then, you know, I have a friend from here that like she uses a wheelchair as well, and it's just like I never realized how what is the word? Just like unfriendly it is for people that are in.
You don't realize until you're in one, and then
and it's really opened my eyes to that. So, because we went down to 6th Street, which is like, I don't know what y'all have in New Zealand that's equivalent to that, but it's like the party zone. You know, do you guys have like a street that's like party area?
This is straight.
Yeah. So down here at 6th Street, and we went and did that, and it was so much fun, but it was not a good idea.
Vampy's in the chat saying I could probably carry you. I've got my back.
Oh. Is that your friend, Vampy?
Yeah, that's who I'm going to the gig with on Saturday tomorrow. So
yeah.
I've still got to think of a costume, Vampy.
It'll be worth it.
Today is your Friday, right?
Yeah, yes, it's Friday at 11. Well, it's probably Friday at like noon 30 there now, but
Friday 4:20 in the afternoon for me.
Perfect timing.
Timing for some medicine, yeah.
Yes. Well, does anybody else have anything they want to share before we hop off? I need to go medicate as well and probably eat some dinner.
You haven't eaten yet?
No, I don't like eating before these things. I get nervous.
Well, yeah, because it's what? 10 o'clock now.
9, I think, here now.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thank you guys all for joining us tonight. We really appreciate all of y'all in this community. It's just been really great getting to know all of you. And if anybody has any questions or needs any assistance, please feel free to reach out. You know, my private messages are open, and if you don't already follow me, then please do, and please go follow CRPS Angel of Hope and Joe. We all are part of this community, so find each other in the chats, and let's just be one big tribe, right?
Right.
So my inbox is always open as well. It might take me a couple of days sometimes to get back to you, but I will.
Yeah, same. I will say it's me, not you. When it takes, you know, a couple days for me to get back, it's definitely not you, it's me.
If you want to get me faster, Instagram and Facebook. I'm on all the platforms, but TikTok is the one I like the most because it's got the most engagement. It's where I've actually met all of these people.
Awesome. Joe, do you have any parting words?
I want to thank everybody for the love you guys show us, and that's why we do this, to show that love back. You know, like you guys said, you got to find your tribe. I don't know why my voice sounds like that. I'm not getting sick. But you got to find your tribe, you know, people that understand how you feel, understand your pain. So,
You
I'm
did.
very grateful. Yep.
And he made me my CRPS bracelet.
Is that orange carnelian? Is that what?
She made all of these. Well, they made all of these for me. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm like into bracelets too. I got my one day at a time one. I love my warrior bracelet so much. I got it tattooed on my arm. So I never
Lots
take
of
it off.
sensory things like that help with pain. Lots of just touching different things all the time and different senses.
Okay, just orange glass. Well, that's beautiful. Good job. All right, y'all. Well, this was a good one. I hope y'all have a good night. I hope that you find moments of joy, moments of peace, and especially moments of relief. And I love y'all.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Thank you all for coming.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Thank you.